Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show, this time not brought to you by CM Punk. We are talking about an AEW pay-per-view that is happening this weekend and a little WWE thrown in between. My name is Tony Squares, and as always, I'm joined by my lifelong friend, Mr. Robert Lentini, a 10-year veteran covering this space and now working for Sportskeeda. Mr. Lentini, are you excited for AEW Dynamite? Or no, AEW Dignity?
you get it eventually. Yeah, no. Short answer, no, I'm not. Just so I'm brutally honest. I wanted to be. I watched that show last night, wanted something a lot more, and just no. There's some great matches to look forward to, but the overall vibe heading into the show, no, I'm not excited. How about you?
Well, we'll see if we can get you excited by the end of it, because there are a lot of really, really fun matches, and they always do well on the pay-per-view when they put up big wrestling fights here. So I'm excited for that. We'll break that down in a second. But first, the biggest news of the week is a sad one to me, and it's in the world of WWE. Rhea Ripley relinquishing her championship, going out with an injury, seemed to be a fluke injury. No one seems to really be at fault here. There were people saying that it might have been an injury that she's been dealing with for a while. Either way, Rhea Ripley's taken some time off, and she is no longer the champion, and this genuinely is sad.
Yeah, it really is. It sucks. It's a huge just letdown because her title reign was from WrestleMania 39. She defeated Charlotte Flair in Los Angeles until WrestleMania 40. She defeated another member of the Four Horsewomen and Becky Lynch, and then it's just over. There's no payoff. Nobody gets to take down Rhea Ripley. They didn't get the chance to build a new star off of Rhea Ripley's back, off of her accomplishments. It's disappointing because Rhea Ripley's a once in a generation star, and this is just not the way that this title reign should have ended. And just having her defeat Becky Lynch only to relinquish the title kind of hurts. It's kind of just, it's a big letdown, a huge disappointment for Rhea Ripley and her fans. And hopefully she gets back soon because that women's division desperately needs her.
And it's also bad for the Judgment Day. Like, she was a huge part of that whole storyline, and we know what's coming eventually with Damian Priest and Finn Balor kind of going at odds here, and Rhea Ripley would have been a great addition to, like, what side is who on? Do Dom and Rhea break? Like, there's just so much you can add to that maybe she's still on TV in some capacity, so she can still take part in that storyline, but overall, this is a big loss for WWE. They have enough people to, be fine and get through it, but it just stinks for us wrestling fans, because she is awesome. She is a wonderful wrestler, and to see, as you said, like, no one gets the shine of beating her for this title. Like that dominance is still held on true. So now that we have an open title here, there's a bunch of women who could use something, could do something. Who do you think deserves this belt, or at least to be competing for this belt?
Well, I mean, my first instinct is to say Becky Lynch, but Rhea Ripley just beat her at WrestleMania, so that kind of. And then, like, Liv Morgan, it would be my other choice, but I feel like they were going to have Liv Morgan in this rivalry, and Rhea Ripley was going to win. She's going to defeat Liv Morgan at Backlash. So I think you go with, honestly, even though it's kind of underwhelming, I think you go with Becky Lynch just because of the star power, and have her feud with someone else younger. Whoever Ripley was going to drop the title to eventually, have Becky Lynch take that spot as the veteran and move forward to just do the best you can. What about you? Do you have any thoughts on who you would want to see as the next women's world champion on Raw?
Well, I'd love to see Charlotte, obviously injured, but also I'd love to see Bianca Belair, but somehow she's now in a tag team with Jade Cargill, because you're only allowed to be in a tag team with people you look the same as in WWE. So I guess it's really down to Becky and Liv, unless there's a Tiffany Stratton thrown in there, a random person to just throw out there to try and do something new with this belt. I am interested to see how they go about this belt. They could do a lot of fun things. It could be a one-on-one match, or it could be if it was AEW, it'd be a tournament. We know that.
It's a new it's they're getting crowned this Monday. They haven't announced how it's going to happen, but there's going to be a new champion this Monday. So thank God it's not a tournament.
I think Liv, it'd be interesting to see Liv with it, because we know it'd be a transitional thing. But it would be interesting to see if Liv got it, depending on how fast Rhea Ripley can come back. Because if Liv holds it till Ripley comes back, it gives you the story built in on Ripley getting her title back. So I'm going with Liv, just for the hopes that Ripley will be back sooner rather than later. That's my pick.
That's a good choice. There's a built-in story. Morgan was off of television for 5 months to an attack by Rhea Ripley. Now she takes
30th entrant at the Rumble. It would finally mean something.
Yeah. And now she takes Rhea Ripley out herself. So there's revenge and there's the story. So Liv Morgan's a good choice too. She's just not, I don't think she's that big of a star as Becky Lynch, but it would make sense story-wise and they could overcome it. So yeah.
Speaking of not big of a star as Becky Lynch, let's move on to this segment Robert Lentini owns on this show. It's supposed to go back and forth, but over and over again, he pitches what it should be, and he wins it every time. And it's time for It's Still Real to Me, damn it. Robert, we had, as we know, Sami Zayn beating Gunther and winning the Intercontinental title. He's now parading it around. He is the good guy. That entrance at Montreal during Raw was fantastic.
Yeah.
Basically, he beat Chad Gable in a match for that belt, I believe, on Monday Night Raw, and then was celebrating. Chad Gable walks off. Sami Zayn goes over, hugs people from the crowd, starts hugging his wife, and then Chad Gable comes over and gives him a German suplex and starts beating the crap out of him. And we have a heel turn for Mr. Chad Gable. This is a storyline you have been heavily invested in for the past few weeks. Why is this real to you, man?
Well, it's been months now I've been heavily invested. It's taken over my life, it seems. But I was very down on this storyline, as you knew, as I said over and over again on the show going into WrestleMania. And then I picked the match as like my match of the night with Sami and Gunther because I thought it delivered so much. And now I'm all the way back in, baby. Like this was epic. This was just, I want to see what insane Chad Gable looks like. Never seen it. Never thought I'd see it. Guy's dry, just has a charisma vacuum. I love him, but he just is what it is. He's not a good promo, but as an insane, I've never seen that. I'm intrigued because I think he can pull that off with his face and he can make wild, but just the visual, first of all, that entrance, but I don't want to just skip over that. That entrance with Sami Zayn in Montreal, where he's standing outside the Bell Center and Jey Uso's next to him. He said, 25 years ago, I saw my first show here. 25 years later, I'm walking in as a champion, just as I did back then, through the front door, through the concourse area with all the fans. Just that was the new production in WWE, the changes that they are making. It just makes the product feel way more alive than it used to be. It's not as cut and dry. And AEW needs to take some notes from this production stuff. And just, they don't need to copy it, but this stuff, they need to incorporate some of the stuff into their product. I don't know how. They don't have the crowds, unfortunately, but that entrance was epic. But Chad Gable's heel turn, as Sami Zayn is kissing his wife, their lips are locked, and Chad Gable comes up behind, and it's a German suplex during a kiss. This is one of my favorite heel turns of all time. And then the ankle lock, like right on the turnbuckle, right next to his wife. It was epic. I don't know when they're going to probably do this in match at Backlash France. I hope they drag this rivalry out for a while. They've put enough into it with those story of Chad Gable being Sammy's coach. Have this be a best of three. Have this go one. Have Sami get another win. They're not going to give Gable the title, I think, ever. I'd like to see it, but I don't think they're going to do it. But yeah, just an epic heel turn for Chad Gable, and it's still real to me because of just the moment when he's kissing his wife into a German suplex. Just it rocked my world. I was not expecting it, and I really
that was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. I'm definitely a fan of it, and I agree. We don't know if they're going to give the title to Gable because we don't know how over heel Chad Gable will get. And the only way you'll know is if you give this room to breathe and we see what happens with it. And Sammy's a great foil for this heel turn. So I'm excited to see both the matches and also the story that they tell with it. But there is one more thing to talk about with WWE before we get to the AEW pay-per-view. We have new titles for the tag team championships. No more Raw and SmackDown titles. Now they're called, I don't know. Here's the thing with titles.
Undisputed WWE. I don't know what they're called.
I don't care. Here's the thing. I don't care. I like the way they look. I think they look really cool. I like that they're not red and blue anymore. I hate the brand split stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm never paying attention to it. But I just hate the names. The Undisputed, the Heavyweight, just name them the tag team titles. And I know there are two of them. I don't care. Why are there two of them? If they need to be different, why are there different statures of it? They're on different shows. Am I going too much into this? There's too many titles, Bob. There's too many titles.
I think they're just going to do the world. These are the world tag team championships that they've presented our awesome truth. And I think they're going to do the undisputed tag team championships on SmackDown. So the worlds are on Raw. The world Heavyweight Championship and the World Tag Team Championship are on Raw, and the undisputed WWE Championship and the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships are on SmackDown. I guess, why don't they have 2 sets of women's tag team titles if they're going to have 2 sets of men's tag team titles? There's a lot of things I don't like about it, but overall, I just didn't think the titles were that great. I'm an old school title fan. I love the old look titles. Like, this just felt new and like bubbly and weird, like a globe, but I just, whatever, man. They have too many titles, but I might as well give something for Grayson Waller and Austin Theory and the New Day and whoever on SmackDown to fight for. They didn't have anything to fight for months before these titles, so I guess it's worth it.
I guess it's worth it. That's what we get out of the WWE debut of the new titles. Let's move on to the other promotion. It is time to talk about the pay-per-view AEW Dichotomy. We have 10 matches here for this pay-per-view, and there's a lot of fun matchups here. There's a lot of people that aren't on the card, and there's some people that are on the card that we don't think should be on the card. But we're going to run through this pay-per-view. Bob said he was not excited for it. Let's dive into match by match, and I know you're excited for this one. It's happening on 0 Hour. It's free television, folks.
Great.
It is the unification of, speaking of too many titles, the unification of the trios World Championships. We have one set of champions. It is the Acclaimed, and then the other set of champions, it is whatever they're calling Jay White and the Billy Gunn Club. This storyline has been going on for a century. It has not mattered. It has diluted Jay White's presence on the AEW brand. Max Caster, we have talked about over and over again how much we dislike that man, although we like the other 2 people in the Acclaimed. What's going to happen in this match? Do you care? Will you watch, or will you wait for the actual pay-per-view to start?
I'll be watching. I just out of just curiosity. I've hated this storyline. There's just no other way around. I just absolutely hated it. It's just like, I like the Guns, and I like Jay White, and I even like the Acclaimed on their own. But when you get like this storyline is just never ending, and I don't care about the trios, ROH 6-man. I don't care about either of those titles. You just shove them. Like, just get rid of them. Like, just throw them in a garbage can and set it on fire and call it a day. Like, who gives a shit about the trios ROH 6-man titles? I don't. So I'm just hoping that Jay White and the Guns win, and they give Max Caster a few months off to just think about things. That's my pick on that match.
Fair enough. If Jay White loses this match, it might be a good thing because it could promote him to other feuds, but I don't see how you sign Jay White to a company and not have him go over here in order for the Acclaim to keep the belt. So I hope to God Jay White wins. And then I hope to God he never fights for these. Give it to Juice Robinson and just you go fight for an actual title. Let's move on now to another match that I promise you, there are matches here that we care about and we will talk about with fervor and actual give opinions on. But Chris Jericho and Hook for the FTW title, another title that does not matter and actually does not exist. Like, again, they mention it every time how this is not a sanctioned title, so why are we fighting for it? Nobody knows. Chris Jericho, however, contractually obligated to have a match on every AEW pay-per-view, even if it is AEW Ding Dong Ditch. So it's Chris Jericho versus Hook. Who do you have winning this match?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, yeah, I'm just hoping it's Hook. So that means the rivalry is over. Like, that Hook just is like, I beat Jericho and I'm moving on. If Jericho wins, now Hook has to get his revenge. And God, I don't want to see that. I just want this story to be over. Like, I just want Jericho just go away, man. Like, I like Jericho a lot. He was first AEW champion. He's done a lot of great things, but geez, man, take some time off and allow people to miss you. Like, that's like a lost art. Like, Jon Moxley came back during Dynamite, right? Mm-hmm. I missed him. I was sick of Jon Moxley for a while. He came back. I was like, hey, I missed this guy. All right. Good to see Jon Moxley.
Delivered a great promo.
Right. Go away for a bit, Jericho. It's just not working with Hook. Hook can't talk. Hook can't act. So if he wants to be a free agent and test the waters at the end of the year, let's go to acting school in the meantime. Holy shit. Good luck. Yeah. Well, just do something with that. Or never talk again. Just eat chips. That's what he does. He eats chips with the spotlight. There's a spotlight chip guy. That's Hook. That's fine.
I'm happy you brought that up. I'm happy you brought that up because I do want to talk about that. AEW is certainly floundering compared to WWE right now. We've gone over that on this podcast over and over again. Why? I am the AEW fan, and I have to say, I've seen the rumors about Hook testing free agency and going somewhere else. If he thinks he's going to get a better hand dealt to him, if he goes to another company based on the presentation, based on the way they've protected him, based on the way they've presented him, Good luck, man. Good luck. I think AEW has made Hook better than what Hook could have made himself. And I like Hook. I think he's awesome. But as you said, he can't talk. He's still really green in the ring. He kind of has a what was Cena's thing, the 5 moves of doom. That's pretty much all of Hook's matches. It consists of his 5 moves of doom. And if he thinks that gravitas is going to hold when he goes to another company when he's only 5'5" and 115 pounds, like, good luck, man. I wish the world for him, but if he wants to leave the waters of AEW for greener pastures, I don't know if they exist. Okay, let's move on now. The next match we want to talk. I'm trying to find a good match now. Let's talk about a match that we're going to have fun with. This is the match that was sort of the first one presented for this pay-per-view here. And so we're talking about it now because it's not going to be the main event. They built other things to the main event, but it is Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay has been having banger after banger after banger every week. He had one against Claudio Castagnoli, again, a guy they should be using more in AEW, but the Will Ospreay is phenomenal. Bryan Danielson, as we know, is phenomenal. This match should be phenomenal. I like how they have not mentioned the Tiger Driver anymore since that first mentioning. I like how they have not built towards that because it scared me greatly. I hope I don't see that in this match. This match should I don't think it'll open the show, but this match should go about 40, 50 minutes. Like, I think this should be a Kenny Omega, Okada type match where they just go and kick the crap out of each other for a decade and see what happens. You excited for this one? Who deserves to go out on top? I know you're going to be angry at who does.
Well, Will Ospreay's winning the match, obviously. Like, he has to. But I just some fundamental things I don't understand with this. Like, a Blackpool Combat Club, baby faces or heels? I don't know. Is Will Ospreay a baby face or heel? Because he's in the Don Callis family, which is a heel faction. Who am I? Like, that stuff, like, that's like booking stuff. That's not matchmaking. That's like planning shit out. Like, you got Will Ospreay in a heel faction, but everybody's supposed to cheer for him. And I think the Claudio Castagnoli was cutting off big moves during that match. He was working as a heel against Will Ospreay, and he's in the black. I don't get it. The heels and faces, but I'm excited for the match. Obviously, once you get past that BS, like the lack of storytelling going into this, I'm excited about the match, and it's going to be, like you said, I think it should be 45 to 50 minutes. Tear the house down. I would open the show with this because nothing really can follow it. Then follow it with one of these crappy matches, but follow it with Hook and Chris Jericho. Have them die after this match. Will Ospreay is going to get the win. I think they're built. I think they have to. I don't even think it's like they have to make this guy the biggest star they have and going forward. They have to put everything they have into him because Okada can't really, he can't, for the United States audience, it's just a disconnect. If they get him a manager or something, but he just can't cut promos. Ospreay's better at it. People have taken more to Ospreay, I feel, than Okada so far. So just ride it. Even though Okada's the Continental Classic creamsicle champion, whatever that one's called, like Ospreay is the guy, I think, and I think they needs this win over Danielson. And I think that's going to lead to him getting that title shot at All In 2020.
I hope so. I'm right there with you. I think Will Ospreay wins this match. I'm ready for it to be a banger. I don't think it should open the show because I think this is like not the semi-main event, but sort of that. The AEW likes to build their shows a certain way, and usually at the halfway point, the end of Act 1, so to speak, they have a really big match, and I think that's what's going to take the reins here. Excited to see it, though, man. Excited to see it, and I do believe Bryan Danielson will do enough to make us believe he could steal this one from Ospreay. Maybe we don't have Jon Moxley. We don't have Claudio Castagnoli on this card. Maybe we get some outside interference, although I don't want it because I want these two to, square off and duke it out in the ring. But maybe there is a way Bryan comes out on top and has a heel turn, even though he might already be a heel and we don't really know about it. But yes, excited for this match. My pick, along with you, is Will Ospreay. I don't think we have a different pick yet. Maybe we will have one for this one. There's another trios match, Bob, and this isn't for the trios titles. It's the smorgasbord of Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe versus the underutilized and looks like they don't want to be there anymore, House of Black. Now, I am a huge fan of everyone in the ring here. I don't care about this match. We want to be positive. We really want to be positive. And there are going to be some awesome moments from this pay-per-view. I don't believe this is one of them. And the fact that these 6 guys are on this card is a good thing. The fact that they're on this card in this capacity is a bad thing. So, Bob, who do you want to win?
Yeah, it's just one like I know the House of Black are heels, but I don't know why they hate Adam Copeland so much. Has that been established? They just hate him. They just hate that guy. It's just every time he shows up, they just attack him. That's what I'm missing in AEW. Why? What's the beef? Why do they hate each other? But yeah, I think, geez, I hope the House of Black win. They can't beat this ragtag of, I mean, they're great wrestlers, but they're just thrown together team. This is the House of Black. This is a unit. They should be working together. So I'm picking the House of Black just on common sense. Just they have to. They're the unit. They've been a trios team forever and have accomplished basically nothing. Have they been trios champions? If they have, I apologize, but yeah, just give House of Black the win. This is like a bunch of talent in this match, but it's like the biggest who cares of all to me. It's like, it's just, I love, like you said, I love everyone in this match, but I could not care less. So I'll just pick House of Black out of just common sense that they've been a trios team this entire time.
That makes too much sense. I'm going against you. I don't think there's a way these three single stars lose on a pay-per-view. I hope you're right. I also don't believe there are wrestlers in the House of Black that are going to be in AEW by the time we get to London. So I just don't. I think they're going to be a lot of losing for them on the way out, which stinks. It stinks, but that's the way the cookie crumbles when we're talking about contracts and things like that. But I do think at least we go on opposite sides here. I think the trios, great trios, notable trios tag team of Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe, who have so much history together, come out with the win. Julia Hart versus Willow Nightingale, featuring Mercedes Moné. Now, Bob, again, it's got to be she's not medically cleared, because why? It makes no sense that Mercedes Moné does not have a match on this card. Julia Hart is the champion. Willow Nightingale is the challenger. We're still Stokely Hathawaying. We don't know what's going to happen with Willow Nightingale. There's still Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale. They had a cool moment where they're going to hit her with the chair, and then she doesn't. Someone attacked Mercedes Moné. We don't know who it was. In darkness, they won't show themselves. It's all going to come to a head here. But why is Mercedes Moné not in this match? Do you care about this match? Are you, if you aren't watching this live, are you just fast forwarding to the end to see what goes on with the story here? Like what is going on?
I'll be watching it live, and I'll be I don't understand what the plan was with Mercedes Moné. Why they had her debut a month ago. And has it been over a month now? It's ridiculous. It's downright ridiculous. Just, I thought that she was just going to have that backstage segment, like talking segment last night, and she wasn't going to rush to the ring. At least that happened. I thought that she just filmed a vignette last week and wasn't even at the show. She's at the show, but I don't understand. Like, this is embarrassing to me. It's just like, hey, I'm Mercedes Moné. Hey, I'm Mercedes Moné every week. Look at me. Mercedes Moné's here. Do something. Let's do something with Mercedes Moné. It's very frustrating. It's like, we got this big talent. I don't have a plan. Or you have an ace.
You have an ace. You are holding on to an ace in your hand, and you are not playing it. It doesn't make any sense.
She can't be cleared. But I wouldn't have debuted her that early if she couldn't compete until Double or Nothing. Debut her now.
And she also debuted and got physical. Like, yes, it was protected physical stuff, but she got physical. Make it a point that she's not medically cleared, and it leads to the storyline with Willow Nightingale if she's not medically cleared. None of it makes sense. And as for the winner, who do you got winning? Julia Hart retaining or Willow Nightingale taking the championship?
Well, I feel like the story is with she has the Willow Nightingale injured her last year. She has that built-in thing. Yeah. But the story seems to be with Julia Hart. She's going after Julia Hart. They're trying to make Julia Hart into a heel, unless it's revealed that Willow Nightingale was the one who attacked Sasha Banks.
That's my prediction.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Julia Hart just because I feel like they have to have that match. But I can understand Willow Nightingale winning either way. I don't care about
Willow
this match.
wins. I think Willow wins. I think it's revealed that Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway were the ones who attacked Mercedes Moné. Julia Hart had nothing to do with it, and Sky Blue has just disappeared off the face of the earth. I think Willow Nightingale wins this match. And again, I just feel so bad for the people involved. I like all of these wrestlers a lot. Yeah. I want them to succeed. But yeah, Willow Nightingale pulls off the win here. This is a match. The next one, it's for the International Championship match, not the Intercontinental, not the Continental, the International Championship match. And yes, that belt might not mean anything to you, but it means this match means something to me because I like both these wrestlers. I like the story that they've built. It's Roderick Strong, the champion, versus Kyle O'Reilly, the returning Kyle O'Reilly. Now, this match to me is an opening match. This match is like everybody's in their seats ready to go. Let's blow the house down for 20 minutes of these guys just going at each other. I love both of them. We haven't seen Adam Cole in a while. We don't know what's going on there. Obviously, he's still injured. We don't know what that storyline is with his faction. Wardlow, again, nowhere to be seen on this pay-per-view. But this match should mean something and will bring the house down. Are you excited to watch these two duking out?
Yeah, I like both of these guys. I thought Kyle O'Reilly's return has been one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen, though, if I'm being honest. Just the way he showed up, he just looked like lost. It's just very weird, his character presentation. But I feel like I'm interested in this match, the Undisputed Era, the history with these guys. It's just but Jesus. I think I'm going to have to go with Roderick Strong to retain in the hopes that they still have some kind of plans for the Devil storyline. And they're just Kyle O'Reilly, to me, hasn't been built up enough to be a champion as a single star. I still view him as a tag team wrestler, but go ahead.
No. I agree with you. I'm sorry to cut you off. I do fully agree with you. I think Roderick Strong should retain. I think Kyle O'Reilly might face more than Roderick Strong in this match, and that's what does him here, because eventually, hopefully, MJF finds his way back and we get all these guys back into the fold of this storyline of the Devil, and maybe Kyle O'Reilly is on MJF's side when we have our own version of Cody finishing his story. But I think Roderick Strong wins this match. I'm very excited for it. I am very excited for this match. I'd be surprised if they disappoint us with this in-ring physicality here. These two guys are great. Speaking of two guys that are great, it's another championship match, the AEW Continental Championship match. This is the one that Eddie Kingston was the first champion of, and now it's Okada versus Pac. Listen. It doesn't matter what the build is. Like, it doesn't. This is one of those matches that you could have signed these guys off the street, not told anyone in the building they were fighting, but you see the entrances, you see these two dudes in the ring, and what they're going to do will shock and awe people. I love both of these men as wrestlers. I cannot wait to see this match. Do you have any fervor to this? Because there has really not been the huge build towards it.
No, other than I'm just excited as a wrestling fan to see it. But I feel like they could be doing so much more with that. Like I'm already invested. You already got me invested because I'm a wrestling fan. They could have had a better storyline with this. But yeah, Pac versus Okada is a dream match. Pac, even when he was Neville in WWE, I knew that guy was great. He's just one of the best, and Okada's one of the best. So it's going to be maybe 20 minutes, beat the hell out of each other, but Okada's winning. They're not taking the title off of him. That's my pick. And Pac will just, I don't know. They never seem to fully commit to Pac to doing anything other than, multi-man matches. So they're going to give him this singles title opportunity, but he's not winning it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I said that that makes me a little bit less excited about it because we know Okada's leaving as champion. But I mean, these two guys should bring the house down. And I do think there's you're absolutely right with how they've presented Pac in AEW and how they have not gone full bore with him. They haven't gone full bore with Pentagon or Phoenix either. Phoenix, again, get well soon. But that's sort of been that death triangle trio, just sort of on the ancillary outskirts of this. But again, when they get put into main event light, they succeed. Doesn't matter what the match is, doesn't matter who they're against, they succeed. And I cannot wait to see it, even though Okada seems to be the one going over, and I'm picking that as well. 3 more matches here. It's time for the Women's World Championship match. It is Timeless Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa. And this has been a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the Timeless Toni Storm character has won over a lot of people. She's obviously a great wrestler. She is a worthy champion. And then the ancillary characters of Purrazzo and Mariah May and all these other people in here have made this a really fun, a lot of personalities convening and colliding in this match. The returning Thunder Rosa. Let me ask you this, Bob, because this is the first time we've talked about her since we've started this podcast. Have you been a Thunder Rosa fan during her AEW run? And obviously she had a very lengthy absence there, but her match with Britt Baker was one of the pillar matches in the build of this company. And so obviously she deserves to be in this spot. But have you been a fan of Thunder Rosa, her AEW run?
Well, first, before the hiatus, I thought she was amazing with the match with Britt Baker, like you said. But now, like, I feel like the same thing might happen to me with Britt Baker when she finally returns. When Thunder Rosa returned, they didn't make it feel that special to me. Like, it was on Collision, I think, and it was like, it wasn't. So, like, she doesn't feel like a massive star like she did at the beginning of the promotion. She feels less than now to me, which sucks. But hopefully she has a great match here with Toni Storm, who Toni Storm, I think you just keep the title on. Again, I think you have Toni Storm win this match just because of her character, because people are connecting to it. Anyone is connecting to, anybody that's getting a reaction, you have them be successful for now, Tony. That's what I would say. I just have Toni Storm win this match and retain the championship, and have Thunder Rosa look good in the match, and hopefully they have something planned for her after. But I feel like she'll just fade away again.
I think there's going to be a litany of shenanigans during this match. We already saw Thunder Rosa take out Luther in a hilarious way, in a hilarious way. And there's just so much other characters in here. We could get a Mariah May turn. We could get a Purrazzo, including herself in here. I'm very excited to see what happens in this match. I agree with you. Timeless Toni Storm should come away as the champion, and I predict that she will. But as for Thunder Rosa's run, it just seems to me, and again, you only know so much. You don't want to read too much in the dirt sheets and what people are saying online and stuff. It just seems to me that people don't enjoy working with her for whatever reason that may be, whether she's too stiff, whether she takes stuff into her own hands, whether she's, whatever it may be. It seems like that locker room and that company does not enjoy working with her. So I was interested to see her put in this spot versus someone else. I am excited to see the matchup. I think it's a slam dunk that Toni goes over, though. If I was a betting man and I could bet on this, I think it's the easiest bet in the world that Toni Storm goes over. Let's move on now to a championship match that does not have a champion. It is for the vacant World Tag Team Championship. It is the reason why we saw the Brawl Out at All Out, or whatever it was called, the Brawl for Paul footage. It is the ladder match. I did not know it was a ladder match until recently. I don't know why it is a ladder match, but it is a ladder match between FTR and the Young Bucks. Listen, same thing with Okada and Pac. Doesn't matter the build. You put these four men in the ring, you're going to get her awesomeness. Yeah. The build aside, because I don't want to spend 20 minutes going through why we saw the footage that we did. Obviously, this is a match that you are going to be glued to the television set for. FTR Young Bucks, are you excited to see these four men duke it out on your screen for, I believe this is their fourth matchup in AEW?
Yeah, build aside, I'm excited. Just again, as a wrestling fan, as just these two guys, these two teams are two of the best in the world. So you can't take all the drama BS away. Like these two teams are as good as it gets. So of course I'm excited for this match. And I feel like you have to, I'm going to just go to my prediction. I feel like you have to have the Young Bucks win, and I feel like Jack Perry is going to return during this match and cost FDR. That would be my prediction, is that the scapegoat, if I took yours, I'm sorry, but the scapegoat Jack Perry will finally be making his return during this match, during whatever the hell the name of the show is, and he will be making his return tonight. At the pay-per-view this weekend to help the Young Bucks become champions. And hopefully it works. Hopefully that new version of the Elite, everything works and everybody hates them for the right reasons. But I don't think it will. But I'm going with the Young Bucks in this match. How about you?
I'm torn. I'm very much torn. Out of all these matches, I have a pretty good sense of who I think will win, at least in the matches that matter. And for this one, I could really see it going either way. FTR deserves to be champions and have a long reign as champions in that tag team division. They did sign a contract a few months back they're going to be in AEW for a while. So to make FTR mean something, them as champions, I don't think the Young Bucks need the belts as much as FTR need the belts. And then on the Young Bucks plays into the storyline with Okada having gold around his waist. It would make sense for the Young Bucks to have gold around their waist. We are not getting the return of Kenny Omega anytime soon, sadly. So them kicking him out of the Elite does not need to have any comeuppance anytime soon. So do you need to have the belts on the Bucks today to have that happen, or are we pushing FTR getting a rematch, or Young Bucks getting a rematch against FTR to a later date to have that Omega comeback? Hangman is floating out there, also kicked out of the Elite. We don't know if he's going to come back and cost anyone anything, or if he can fight the Young Bucks in any way. To me, I think FTR needs the belts more. So I'm going with FTR winning this. And I don't know if Jack Perry makes a return here. I understand the build towards, the whole reason this footage was released is so we can build towards Jack Perry, the scapegoat, returning. I know they're, especially Anna Jay is hinting to stuff online. That's his real life girlfriend there. So it definitely seems like he could return here. I just don't think he does. Here's the thing. I think they're smart enough to know to avoid the CM Punk stuff anymore. I think they're smart enough to know now, they being the company, not necessarily Tony Khan, but I think enough people in the company have come forward and said, let's just effing not do this when it comes to CM Punk, that throwing Jungle Boy here would invite chance of CM Punk during this match and during the return and during the whatever. And it's going to happen whenever he comes back, but I don't think they want it to happen here. So I'm going with the Young Bucks to with FTR to win and no Jack Perry. That's my prediction. Do you think I'm wrong on that? Do you think they're going full bore? F it, we're throwing Jack Perry out there. Screw your chance, like we're doing it.
Well, I don't understand the reason to show the footage if they don't have him appear soon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just really looks like you like dedicated 10 minutes of Dynamite just to say F you to a guy who doesn't work there anymore. So I would like to see them have Jack Perry show up and pay that footage off. And I'm a wrestling fan. I like storylines. I'm trying to like convince myself that it was a good idea to show the footage, even though I know it's not. So I'm just like, hey, just have Jack Perry show up and just in a CM Punk shirt or something. I don't know. But yeah, I agree with your point though, that FTR does need the titles more. I would not be upset to see them win at all. But I think they're going to give it to the Young Bucks.
I would love to see Jack Perry return even at this pay-per-view and it be nowhere near this match. Or like have him return and fight Adam Copeland. Have him return and fight anyone. Samoa Joe, Swerve, anyone. Yeah, I love Jack Perry. I want him to be on AEW television, and I want them, if they want to use this footage to promote Jack Perry, okay, fine, do it. Don't have it be during this match. Don't have it be with the Young Bucks and with FTR. Be outside of this world. There's so much more you could do with it. But that's it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It'll get me disappointed. Let's talk about a match that I think is going to be really awesome, and I'm very much excited for. I think the build for it has been excellent. It is the final match, which should be the main event of the night. Samoa Joe, the champion, versus Swerve Strickland, the challenger. Bob, I'm going to come off the top here. Okay. Samoa Joe has been an awesome champion. Transitional champion, yes, but an awesome champion. Does he deserve to have the belt longer? You're absolutely right, he does. Is it time to make the switch? Yes, it is. Swerve Strickland should go over here. Swerve Strickland should carry this belt for a long time. Swerve Strickland should be the face that runs the place until some guys get back from injury here that can challenge him. I think the time is right. As you said, when this company is floundering and we don't know what's going to happen, go with the people that are over and make them successful and ride them until you're out of this valley, so to speak. I think Swerve Strickland can carry you out of the valley. I want Swerve Strickland to win this match, and that is my prediction. Where are you on this?
I am totally in agreement with you, 100%. Samoa Joe was the perfect champion for this company at that time when everything was in chaos backstage. He's the steady hand, if you will, the right guy to lead the ship there. But Swerve Strickland is the biggest star of this company. Well, without MJF present, like they need to get behind Swerve Strickland and push this guy to the moon. And then think of when MJF returns, MJF and Swerve. That would be awesome. Like they need to get him the title, have him and have an impressive title reign, and Swerve Strickland versus Ospreay maybe at All In 2024 at Wembley. There's endless possibilities. Then they could do Adam Cole and MJF again at Wembley. So there's a lot of things there. But you got to give Swerve Strickland the title. You don't have him have this heartbreaking loss and work his way up. No, the time's now. He's hot right now. Give him the belt now and just follow his lead. Just get out of the way and let's see where Swerve Strickland is going to take us. But it's time. I agree with you. It's time to take the title off Joe.
What's the worst possible scenario from this match?
Joe just wins clean with a muscle buster in like 15 minutes without any interference. And this just everybody's like, what the hell is that? No, but I think if Joe wins by like screwy means and they have another match at whatever the next event is,
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be fine with that. Well, the worst possible scenario for me is Hangman coming back and costing Swerve the title, because to me that would be a step backwards.
Yeah.
And I understand Swerve and Hangman still have unfinished business. I get that. You've built that story. I've liked that build. I liked what happened in the last match that these three guys all had together, but let it breathe. Let Swerve be the champion. This Hangman Swerve match feud will matter months from now versus hours from now. Okay. And That would be the worst. If I see that happen, just know wherever you are, if you're watching this, if Hangman cost Swerve the title, I'm not going to be mad as a wrestling fan. Like, it's still real to me, Dan. I'm going to be genuinely mad at the company because I think it's taking a great push and pulling it backwards. And I like Hangman, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But that's it for AEW. I was going to call it a bunch of different names. I forgot to throughout the podcast. Dynasty. Let's move on now before we get out. The gimmicks of the week. Let's finish up with the gimmicks of the week. The first one is the Big Show turn of the week. I just had to, since we're ending on AEW, I had to end this with Chris Jericho turning face, then heel, and face, then heel. He fucking sucks. Get him off my television set. Bob, the gobbledygooker debut of the week is...
What is it?
We'll go with Tama Tonga. We'll go from SmackDown. Tama Tonga from SmackDown. He arrived on SmackDown. He's the newest member of the Bloodline. Solo Sikoa kicked out Jimmy Uso. Interesting to see where that goes, but the Bloodline's changing now that Roman Reigns isn't champion, and Tama Tonga is now a part of the group.
And shout out to Sheamus. He didn't quite make it. Tama Tonga took his spot. The social media superstar of the week. It's Grayson Waller and Dax getting after it. I think we're showing it on the screen right now, the little screen recording. But Grayson Waller came out because the WWE is going to Jacksonville, and he said finally there'll be good wrestling in Jacksonville, which is, hey, that's a good heel line. That's a good heel line. And then Dax comes over the top with, as long as you don't have a match. Hey, man, I'm in. I'm invested. Get these two in a match together. Come on, dueling brands. I'm all about it. This is what I want.
I'm a big fan of Grayson Waller. I didn't think much of that guy originally, but he's freaking hilarious. And Dax I can't tell if he's like overly sensitive or joking around, which is why I love him so much. Because I think there's something there and there. He's deeply upset about the comment, and that's why I enjoy it so much. But hats off to Grayson Waller and Dax, I guess, as the social superstars of the week.
Yeah, and then the last one, we're going to name this now, I guess, the Drew McIntyre contract update of the week because, Bob, give us the latest update, man.
Well, he hasn't signed. He hasn't signed. His contract has 4 to 5 weeks left, which I do not understand why they're waiting this long. But they're advertising him for Clash at the Castle in Scotland in June, so he's going to sign. But you just have to report the news. He hasn't signed, so AEW still has a chance. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm saying like $100 million a year. Please come here. Just come here and talk trash about Punk. That's all we got. We're just living off the ghost of Punk. Come here, cut promos that you cut to Punk's face on AEW Dynamite.
That's who's going to debut, not Jack Perry. It's going to be Drew McIntyre messing up the FTR Young Bucks match. I would love that as an AEW fan. Yeah, back up with the Brinks truck for Drew McIntyre. That's it, my friend, for the show. Let's end, however, with headlines of the week. Again, every week we end with what's next week's headline in the world of wrestling going to be. Robert, you are the one to give out the WWE one.
Mine's simple. It's AJ Styles is going to avenge his loss at WrestleMania to LA Knight this Friday night. He's going to defeat LA Knight and become the first challenger to Cody Rhodes at WWE Backlash. I think it's a great matchup. AJ is one of the most recognizable heels in the company. He's not being pushed as such as of late, but he's still a legend. And Cody Rhodes' first opponent as AJ Styles. He's going to get a victory over AJ Styles. Just makes too much sense to me. And you don't hand LA Knight another title loss. He lost to Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel last year. Don't do that to him again. Have AJ Styles get the win this Friday on SmackDown.
You love it. And my headline for AEW is going to be, we already talked about the main event here, and I don't want to jinx it because a few weeks ago I said we were going to be in the Mercedes Moné, Okada, and Will Ospreay era of AEW, and that didn't work. But for this headline, I'm going to be this time next week, we are entering into the Swerve Strickland era of AEW. I am very excited for that as an AEW fan. But that's it for the show. And as always, we end with checking in for this week in Ryback.